Broadcasting from the world-famous LWDL studios, this is Life with Dan and Lewis. I'm Dan.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're here to talk about life and all the wonderful, magical, horrible, awful, fantastic stuff inside that four-letter word.
Life.
Before we get too far in, if you hear anything you like today, feel free to go over to buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. Your support is greatly appreciated for this little adventure we are on.
We thank you for your support.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you also.
How was your week or weeks? It's been a little while since we've been recording.
It definitely has been some time. It seemed like life tried to kill both of us at the same time. But
a little back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Trying to keep the coughing to a minimum. That's what's lingering with us for sure.
Yeah, definitely. My week was it was pretty good for the most part. I was allowed to come back to work.
Right.
Although I wanted to go back, I was allowed to come back to work.
Right.
Because my judge she'll call me. I don't like your voice. I don't like the way you sound. Take another day of rest. And then so I was like, but I feel fine. I don't like the way you sound. So take another day of rest. Like, okay.
Right.
So I was like, what are you doing?
Do? Yeah.
So then, I will work from home and do some stuff and whatnot. So about a good 4 weeks now, I've been having a cough.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a simple cold. So my daughter got sick at school. Common cold.
Sure.
Brought her home. I was the only one that got sick.
Mm-hmm.
She got better. I got worse progressively as the weeks went by.
Gave it to me.
Yes. And so what was supposed to be a cold for me turned into a viral infection. And had a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of a fluid in the lungs. And a whole bunch of hacking up, pouring up phlegm and
sure,
whatnot. But I lost my voice completely, almost to the point to where, like, I just stopped talking,
right,
and just started texting people what I need, what I'm trying to say, and then Alicia would make fun of me because she'll start talking to me and she was like, huh, what are you saying? And I'm just like, look, asshole, I can't talk right now. So, and then after that, my voice slowly started coming back and I was just talking in phrases.
Right.
I was like, food hot now.
Right.
That's pretty much all I can do. And so it was quite the experience. I had COVID before. This was worse than COVID. I had the flu before. This was worse than the flu. So yeah, Alicia reminded me. She was like, you only get sick, like really sick, once a year.
Yeah.
And so last year, it was in September when I had COVID. And so, I mean, I guess, hey, this is going to be the only time I'm going to be really sick in the year of
I guess
2013. Might as well get it over the way.
2023.
Oh, 2023.
Yeah, off by a decade.
2013. 2023. So, hey, you know what? Let's just get over it and get out the way.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I don't really get sick other than COVID. I haven't been sick in years.
Yeah.
And because of quarantine, everyone being home and not out in public and all that.
Correct.
But this time last year, I had the same damn cough. And the reason I remember it is because we went to Ollie's birthday party and they wanted to be around people because I was coughing.
Yeah.
And I get this cough. And ever since I got COVID the first time back in 2019, I get this cough and it hits my left lung and it just sort of lingers. And I could be fine. Like, it's not in my throat anymore. The cough is in my lung. Yeah. And I could be fine for hours. And then all of a sudden it just kicks up and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, same thing here. I'll be fine for hours and then, because like yesterday I was fine. 2 o'clock in the morning, had a full on cough attack.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I felt really good today for the first time. I had this sinus thing going on. And I just had a lot of sinus pressure and pain and stuff. And this morning I got up and I was like, damn, I feel pretty good. Went about my day and I was sitting down on the couch about to eat lunch and my lung just got rattly. And there's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
Just had, a half hour of just hacking stuff up. And I was like, all right, getting it out at least. I mean,
yeah.
And now I feel it could do it again tonight. Right now I feel fine, but it's like right on that verge of it could get funny.
Yeah. About this time last week, it was real funky.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, I couldn't lay down flat. I couldn't lay on my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I had to prop my pillows up.
Yeah.
And damn near almost be like I was in a hospital bed sitting almost up. Because otherwise, and even at that, I would still get the cough attacks. And then it'll be like I'm coughing, but I'm also gasping for air at the same time. And it'll be like, okay, well, I have to throw up. And then I go, and it's just nothing but phlegm.
Right.
And so, then you're just doing everything the doctor prescribes you and then trying to get it out. But what really helped was there's these little small things of like beer salt.
Mm-hmm.
I will take some and just like kind of hold it towards the back of the throat. Then I'll go into the bathroom, turn on the steam. And between the combination of that, it really helped my throat and helped me get rid of the phlegm.
Mm-hmm.
And because what I found was once I turn on the steam and I mix sure the salt, I'll just be in there just like coughing up into the point of a full on throw up attack. But it'll be nothing but phlegm. But after I get it all out, I'll be good for another 5-6 hours,
Sure.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're on the tail end of it.
Definitely.
I think we're both feeling better. We just have the cough thing and your voice is not healed yet from all the trauma.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday, I had no voice at all. I did a combination of lemon, fresh mint, a throat tea.
Yeah, throat coat.
And then just a combination of that. I was, drinking that and water. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing that I would drink. And then right before bed, I would gargle with salt water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that seemed to help out with getting my voice back. And then I don't try to overextend. I can tell like when my voice has reached this point, that's like when I start skipping words and I'm trying to talk, but I'm skipping words. And then I just stop.
Right.
Just give my voice a rest and go from there.
Right.
I will not be yelling at the XFL game tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to take it easy too. I think we can still have a good time, but yeah, we definitely both need to not be screaming and hollering at it.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that we're both going to have a great time. The Brahmas aren't in it, so I don't have to be over-exertly yelling, but we'll be have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, it was pretty much a normal week. Normal work stuff, had bowling. Bowling's going really good this year. Got a really good group.
That's good.
I'm also bowling on a team, it's fun. It's a lot of fun this year. We're not the greatest team, but we did pretty good last week, so we'll see. It's fun at least.
My thing is, as long as you're having fun,
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, And the other big thing this week is I finally got a new laptop.
Ooh,
yeah. So I've been working on a 2011 iMac since I got it brand new in 2011.
Did it finally die?
It's been having problems for years, and I just keep messing with it and making it work and making compromises. It got to the point where the issue that it's been having is that the read write speed to the hard drive is so low.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a file is over a couple dozen megabytes, it would take forever to write or read it.
Oh wow!
Just because it's an old hard drive, and I think it was starting to break down. And so I had offloaded like all my storage to like portable drives in the Google Cloud.
Okay.
And then that was even getting difficult to like manage files and stuff. And then it was just being a real pain with email. So long story short, it finally gave up. And I ordered a Best Buy had some of last year's last year's MacBooks.
Okay.
That had a good sale on. So I have a 2021 MacBook Pro.
Nice.
They didn't make 2022s, so that's last year's model.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a 14-incher. Pretty well spec'd out. It doesn't have the Max chip. It has the Pro chip, M1 Pro. Yeah, it's already made a big difference. It's just everything works right. Like when I do something, I don't have to be like, oh, is it working? Like it just does it.
So overall, what is the satisfaction rate?
I haven't done any editing on it yet because at the same time I bought this was when we stopped recording because we were sick.
Yeah.
So I don't know about editing. I did re-edit one thing, and it went like really quick.
Okay.
Really, really smooth.
Nice.
Not like a huge difference like in like the editing process because that was actually working okay on the Mac.
Okay.
But it did render the video a lot quicker.
Nice.
And I think my issue is that I was rendering it to the drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm restricted by just the speed of the drive versus actually rendering it to the computer.
Okay.
Which I might do when I do some new edits. Because I can do that now. I couldn't do that before. I can do that now. So yeah, there's just some things like that. And then everything works. Like email just works right.
Yeah.
Like I just open it and stuff loads and I delete an email and it goes away.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I would delete sometimes my email just would not work in the mail app on the Mac. So I had to go to Gmail. And when you have 7 different email accounts, it's just a pain in the butt to manage it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then sometimes I would archive something and it would show back up. It was just old. It wasn't working right anymore. Everything just works right on this one. I open a web page, it just loads. Like it doesn't, sometimes like web pages wouldn't load right on the old Mac. I don't have to restart it. It works. It's nice. Satisfaction, I'd say I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I could have picked the timing better. Just financially, it kind of sucks that I have to spend that much money right now. But it was going to happen eventually. And I'd rather it happen like when the Mac was still like somewhat functional versus it like just not working and then I have to go buy something.
Yeah.
At least this time I got to look and like there's something on sale and I was like, okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
Whereas if I would have waited for it to really crap out, then it might have been like, oh, well, nothing's on sale. I just got to get something.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that at least. We'll see. It could be, I guess I'll feel better about it once I get a couple edits under my belt and we see how that goes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Hey, so I was looking at some movies and stuff that were out and I stumbled across one and I remember hearing about this and I never followed up on it. But so Winnie the Pooh was originally written in 1926. In January of 2022, it entered the public domain. So it's no longer like a copyright protected thing.
Okay.
Anyone can use the characters or whatever. So the first thing to come out of that is this movie called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And it's a slasher horror film.
Wow.
The premise is after Christopher Robin abandons them for college, Pooh and Piglet embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a new source of food.
Wow.
And I have the trailer here. I thought we'd watch it.
The woman's always right when she says it's time to leave.
Yes.
It's time to leave.
So he comes back to the 100-acre woods. And and with his wife or girlfriend. And I think Pooh just ripped her head off.
Yes.
So now we have some kind of a camping trip up to the 100-acre woods, and it's a bunch of, I don't know, college-age girls and one of their mothers maybe. And I think Piglet just killed someone in the hot tub and wrote something in blood on the window. And we get these creepy shots of Piglet with tusks and Pooh with a baseball bat.
Wow.
So it's available on Amazon Prime now, and I thought maybe sometime between now and next week we could both watch it and maybe do a little bit of a review for next week just to see what the first independent film adaptation of Winnie the Pooh as a horror movie is like.
Okay. That just definitely gave me a different outlook on
right.
I'll never look at Winnie the Pooh the same.
I'm interested to see how the whole thing plays out. It looks like it might be an okay movie.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It doesn't look too. Sometimes those slasher movies get real campy. This one looks like it might be like a good mix of like slasher absurdity with like a good story.
The last slasher movie that I saw something like this was the one with Paris Hilton, the House of Wax or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, which was basically what you said. Like, it had a few moments where it was good, but it didn't carry throughout the whole movie.
Right.
So, sometimes you're just left like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like something that's definitely good. I'm interested in watching it. I am kind of home alone for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's a good weekend movie for you. Maybe wait till Alicia's back. I think she might kind of like it too. Because she does horror movies, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. So maybe one night next week you guys can check it out. And I'll probably watch it one afternoon next week where the lights on.
Not at like
exactly.
The only way I watch horror movies by myself, one, I'm drinking heavily by myself.
Sure.
And it's during the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't do a lot of horror. I do like slasher and gore movies. But I like to watch them during the day.
Yeah, correct. It's the same here. I made a mistake of watching Paranormal Activity.
I don't do that kind of stuff
by myself at night. When my mother was out of town.
Nope, not gonna happen.
So needless to say, I went to bed that night with every light on in the house, and yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that kind of like psycho thriller or any of that. What do you call that? Paranormal Activity kind of genre.
Any
like
shit,
ghost stuff, all that kind of stuff. I don't do those kind of movies.
Any shit that can actually be real and actually happen in real life.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. What's in your cup?
I am drinking some Mountain Dew, 0 sugar, summer freeze, mixed with a little bit of vodka.
Nice. Yeah, that's the new Mountain Dew flavor. It's supposed to taste like one of those like bomb pops. The red, white, and blue ones. It sort of tastes like Mountain Dew Code Red to me, with a little bit of blue raspberry.
It does remind me of the ice cream, the popsicle.
Yeah,
which reminds me, it takes me back to my childhood.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
And so I like them. Definitely something that I'll probably drink again.
Yeah.
Maybe with or without alcohol.
Yeah.
I will try them.
Yeah.
What about you? What's in your cup?
I just did a little bit of Devil's River on some ice there. And I brought a Topo Chico up too, just to have a little bit of variety. A little whiskey, a little bit of soda water. Nothing special this week. Simple and the point.
That sounds about good, because for me, today is the first day I had any alcohol for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking a hell of a lot of water.
Yeah.
And in between water and Sprite Zero.
Yep.
Because sometimes I needed to like a little bit of carbonation. And so I did Sprite Zero, which worked out phenomenal. I have me a big cup of ice water by the bed, and then I'll have a 20-ounce bottle of Sprite Zero, And whenever I got my cough attacks, the Sprite Zero actually helped a lot better.
Yeah, it cuts through some of the phlegm. Like, yeah, I get that.
And that carbonation just really helped out.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been drinking for like the last about two and a half, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink since the last time we recorded. So yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And a lot of hot tea, a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I haven't had any caffeine as far as like energy drink or coffee in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Since I've gotten sick. I was tempted, but I didn't know how it was gonna play out. So I was just like, man.
Right.
But I might try it tomorrow.
Yeah, that didn't change any of my caffeine habits. I've done coffee or an energy drink or both every day throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? I don't need another thing to worry about. So I'm just going to do everything else as normal as I can.
Exactly.
To try to, get
might as well.
It. Yeah.
Anything to help to just get back to the normal everyday life.
Exactly.
And, there you go.
This is the place where we would tell you about our sponsors, but we don't have any. Maybe you can help us. Life with Dan and Lewis is actively looking for new brands, podcasts, people, and companies to partner with. If you're interested, drop us a note at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
That's lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
We'd like to hear from you. After all, we are doing this for your entertainment. Drop us a note and let us know where you're listening from, or if you have any ideas for new segments, things you'd like us to stop doing, do more of, less of, or anything at all, email us at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
Once again, that email is lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
All right. In our second segment today, I thought we'd talk a little bit about work-life balance.
Interesting.
Did a little bit of research online, found a few articles. I'll post all the articles in the description below. But I thought we'd just sort of talk about what work-life balance is and a few ways we can all work to improve that.
Sounds good to me.
So research shows that when we don't feel in control of our time, illness and burnout can quickly follow. Studies have shown that failing to achieve work-life balance leads to higher stress and absenteeism and lower productivity at work. Another study found that poor balance is a major cause of job dissatisfaction. So I think this is interesting, this premise to start with from these articles, in that we're not focusing on the negative life aspects, but we're actually focusing on the negative work aspects.
Okay.
We're talking about absenteeism, not going to work, calling in sick frequently. We're talking about being dissatisfied with your job. Normally, we talk about how our life doesn't feel great because of our work. And in this case, our life doesn't feel great because our work doesn't feel great. So just a little bit of a different twist on it.
Yeah.
So we all know that health suffers when you work long hours, and we sort of call that stress and anxiety. But there's some deeper, specific health impacts too. These can be things like frequent headaches, high blood pressure, insomnia, and even gets into mental health disorders like clinical depression or anger management issues. And a weakened immune system is another thing in this, another symptom of having a poor work-life balance or being overstressed and anxious. Anytime you're spending too much of your time and energy in one area of your life at the expense of another, you can also have mental health symptoms like guilt, regret, and frustration. So we've talked about sort of what happens when it's out of whack. So it's how can we work to get a better balance in our work life?
Mm-hmm.
So the first couple tips here, I pulled 4 or 5 tips from different articles on two sides of the equation: the work side and the life side. So the first one here on the work side is learning how to say no and how to prioritize. A lot of us, and I'm very guilty of this, you fall into the everything is urgent mindset. So there's something called the Eisenhower matrix, and this is something President Eisenhower used and talked about. And it's a 2x2 diagram. You have 2 columns and 2 rows. And the columns you organize urgent and not urgent, and the rows you organize important and not important, giving you 4 categories. So in the upper left, you get urgent and important. In the upper right, you get not urgent and important. In the bottom left, you get urgent but not important. And in the bottom right, you get not urgent and not important. And then we classify those two things. So if it's urgent and important, you need to do it right now. That's a true urgent thing. If it's not urgent, but it is important, you need to schedule it. So make sure you have time to get that thing done. If it's urgent, but it's not important, delegate it. I mean, it's not important for you to do it, have someone else do it.
Yeah.
If it's both not urgent and not important, delete it. Doesn't matter. Now, there are things in this category, and the article I pulled points this out. There's things like browsing on social media, watching TV, eating junk food. So yes, delete it, but also maybe in moderation or as time permits, because there could be some positive mental health benefits to relaxing and and participating in the social media and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
So not a hard, fast rule, more of like a guide to how to like categorize things as they come in.
Yeah. I found this in returning to work, and having over 400 something emails.
Sure.
So what I did was I started from the very oldest email and worked my way back to the current. If it was important to me, I would work it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
If it was semi-important, I would open it and then go back and mark it as unread, and then I'll come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that somebody was asking me to do while I was out sick, and it has been completed. I delete it.
Yeah, that's both not urgent and not important.
It didn't matter to me anymore.
Right.
The task was already done. If it was something that was coming up within the next day or two that I needed to get done, I just mark it as unread and then came back and went to it. And so it's important to where, I feel like sometimes when people are out of the workplace for a certain period of time, they don't know how to, they try to go in and answer all emails all at once. Out of the 400 some emails that I have unread, I still have 150 something in my inbox right now.
And those are all things that fell into the not urgent but important.
Exactly.
Meaning you don't have to do it now, but you're going to get back to it
as time permits.
Yep.
Because you know what? Being back in the office after being out sick, if I just try to answer everything, I'm playing on my mental health.
Yeah.
You're
going to stress yourself out.
And my physical health.
Right.
After already being sick, I'm just going to pretty much make myself.
Plus, a lot of it's not going to matter because it's already been taken care of.
Exactly. Fortunately for me as a core coordinator, we have fill-in coordinators that are able to help out.
Right. A
lot of the stuff they took care of. So if they took care of it, why should I stress over it?
Yep.
Just let it be.
Exactly.
If it didn't work out the way that I would normally do it, but it still worked out, screw it. It worked out.
Right.
Not the way Booker does it, but it still got done.
Exactly.
So it's like, take care of the stuff that you need to take care of, and then everything else will flow from there on in.
Yep. So another thing is taking breaks. And this falls into a few different categories. So we'll talk about a few different things. One is the 20-20-20 rule. I'm a huge advocate of this. And I tell everyone that will listen to me about it. Every 20 minutes, stare at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So that originated as a way to make sure that you don't get fatigue and headaches from staring at your computer all day.
Mm-hmm.
But what that actually does is it forces you to take a mindful break from what you're doing, just enough to get your mind off of what you're doing in that exact minute. Mm-hmm. Not enough to take you out of the situation where we would call that context switching, but just enough to give yourself a break from constantly gears turning. The next thing is about every 90 minutes, you should take 15 minutes off. 90 minutes is sort of an important number in the human body. So the average sleep cycle to get from a light sleep into a deep sleep and back into an REM cycle and back out is 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wake up in the morning and it's less than 90 minutes before your alarm goes off, you should just get up.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough time to get back into a full cycle. And if you wake up mid-cycle, That's what leaves us feeling groggy a lot of times.
Agree.
So this 90-minute thing, turns out it plays into focus too. In general, we're really good at focusing on a subject for 90 minutes. And right about that 90-minute mark, we need a break. And what's the length of that break? 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's just this sort of magic formula there, 90 and 15.
You know, that that's definitely true, because being back in the office and focus, you know, when I was sick and I work from home.
Yeah.
I was answering emails or doing stuff, resetting stuff. But right about that 90-minute mark,
Yep.
I felt myself like getting super annoyed. It was just like, this is like taking too long. So what did I do? Close my laptop.
Yep. Walk away.
Yeah. And whether I came back in 15 minutes or it took me an hour to come back, whenever I came back, I felt less pressure.
Sure.
And was able to be more productive.
Sure.
And so that's definitely something that I can concur that, you know, work for 90 minutes and then take 15 minutes and just, you know, if you have to sit back in your chair and stare at the ceiling, then do it. You know, it's going to give you that, it's going to help your mental stamina.
Yeah. And there are studies that show that movement during your break helps too. Get up and walk into a different room, go get a cup of coffee, go grab a drink, something. That helps your mind actually sort of like feel the break.
Yeah.
So there's studies on that too. The final little break or time management trick here to help improve work-life balance is to use techniques like the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is 25-minute work sessions, and you take a 5-minute break, and you repeat that 4 times, and then you take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. And that's sort of a way to schedule your time in productive short bursts.
Okay.
So that's another way to manage your time. But I think the overall thing there is be productive for a set amount of time and take breaks.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So the next thing on the work side of the equation is to prioritize yourself and advocate for yourself. So what does that mean? It means we're all human. You're a human and your manager is a human. Yeah. So if you have a human need that's not being met, and it could be met with a little bit of flexibility, go ask your manager. So what we're talking about is things like longer lunch breaks, and maybe you stay an hour longer. So you work a 10-hour day and take an hour and a half lunch because you need to do something at your lunch break.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need to come in later on certain days so you can take your kid to daycare. You know, so there's all these kind of human things that we all have to do that we can work out with each other if we just try.
Yeah.
So, you know, advocate for yourself and prioritize yourself. You're important enough that you deserve to go ask and see if you can get some flexibility where you need it.
Or, you know, if you, in my instance, I don't have a supervisor or manager. My boss is the judge that I work for, but I can pretty much do my own scheduling.
Right.
For instance, today, I did my morning docket. We got done, and I got some Chick-fil-A. Then I came back to my office and I started working. And then I noticed I was going to work on my docket for Tuesday. And I felt myself forcing myself to work on it. And I was getting annoyed. I was getting upset.
Needed a break.
And I already knew that I was fatigued and I felt tired because, one, I've been at home for almost 3 weeks. And then being back in the office, my body is going to be physically fatigued.
Yeah.
Because when I'm at home, when I was sick, when I got fatigued,
you just went and took a break.
I
took
went,
a nap, laid on the couch, whatever.
Exactly. So what did I do? I was like, all right, I have no phone calls coming in. All my emails are answered. I'm working on my docket. If I had to force myself to do it, it would have took me about 2 hours to do it. What did I do? I sat back in my chair, closed my door almost all the way, and I took a nap.
Yep.
15 minutes.
Yep, that'll do it.
When I woke up, I was able to get my docket out in 20 minutes.
Yep.
So you prioritize what is important to you.
Yep.
How does your body feel? What have you been working on for the last whatever amount of minutes?
Yep.
And then you advocate for yourself. You're like, okay, well, if I take a break for this amount of time, doesn't mean take a nap. It could be go for a walk.
Yeah.
get out of your workspace and just stretch your legs. Whatever the thing may be, just do it.
Yep.
Because then when you come back and work on that task, what if you force yourself to do could take more than an hour, can actually, if you just take that break and prioritize, you come back and you get it done in about 10, 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Which when I came back and I did it, I was able to produce my docket for the following day in about 20, 25 minutes.
Right. Exactly. So those are all things on the work side, but there's also things on the life side that we can do to help improve the balance.
Correct.
So a huge one, and overwhelmingly the most important one, is to set boundaries.
Yes.
So when you're off, you're off.
Correct.
Now, huge caveat, this doesn't work for all jobs. There are some jobs which you'll be on call, or you are the person that needs to be available whenever. But in general, even those people have time off.
Correct.
So when you have it, you need to take it.
Exactly.
So that means stop checking your work emails, put your work phone down, all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, and importantly, don't worry about work when you're not at work. So we've talked about worry and dread and stuff before, and
Correct.
it's the idea that we're not going to worry or dread something that we cannot take effect on right now.
Exactly.
So if I have an appointment tomorrow that I'm concerned about, there's nothing I can do right now by worrying about it that changes that appointment tomorrow.
No.
Okay. Let's apply that same thing to work. If I'm at home, there's no use in me worrying about my Excel worksheets at work.
Correct.
I can't do anything about them right now.
Nothing.
So I'll worry about them tomorrow when I can work on them.
And that's good, because that plays a lot into my job as a coordinator, because a lot of attorneys have my cell phone. So my judge asked me one time, why do you say I work until 6? You can leave and go, once court's done. Like, once court's done, and if my job is done, I can actually leave work about 2, 3 o'clock.
Sure.
But I say until 6. And I told her this. I was like, I give myself until 6, and I tell attorneys, you can email me, text me, call me up until 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
At 6 o'clock, I'm done.
Right.
You can get me on the next day.
Yep.
You can call my cell phone. You can text me. I'm not going to answer until the next day. Set yourself boundaries.
Yep.
Even though it's my own personal cell phone and the calls come in, I have the power to answer.
Yep.
And I have the power to not answer. What do? On the most part, today it was 5:15.
Sure.
I was out of office at 5:15.
Mm-hmm.
Not answering your cell phone, not answering your text message. Set yourself boundaries, because once you do your boundaries, then and it allows the people that you work with to know that, like, hey, at this certain point in time, 6 o'clock, Booker's not answering emails. I'm not sending out plea paperwork. I'm not answering your text messages. I'm not answering your phone calls. I'm done.
Exactly.
From 8:30 until 6 o'clock, if you haven't reached me, you get me on the next day.
Right.
Set your boundaries, take 2 of them.
Yep.
And then go with that.
Yeah. On the same note about time and such, you also need to schedule activities with family and friends in a similar fashion that you schedule stuff at work. So you're at work 8 to 5. You know that. You have set things, you get to go to lunch at a certain time and all this kind of stuff. So you need to do the same thing in your personal life with family and friends. You need to schedule stuff out and be responsible with taking that time to spend that quality time outside of work. And it's important for a variety of reasons. One, it's important for those relationships.
Yes.
2, it's important that you maximize the benefit you get from your time off.
Correct.
If you're not scheduling stuff and participating in activities outside of work, and you're just sort of, relaxing, laying around, you're wasting your time off, and your body's going to feel that.
Yeah.
You need to have activity outside of work.
Yes.
So make time for that, schedule it.
For instance, my life this week, my family's out of town.
Sure.
And tonight, I knew that I was going to come over to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Something came up before. I allocated enough time to get that done. Also, in paying attention to the time that I needed to allocate to friends.
Sure.
And family to do other stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have other stuff scheduled. And so if I was to say, hey, I'm going to just lay around my house all Saturday and I do nothing, I would feel more fatigue.
Yes.
I felt like my day was wasted and be annoyed that I didn't get anything accomplished.
Right. Agreed. Yeah.
There's a little bit of dishes to be done. And there's a little bit of laundry to be done. And if I could just lay around the house, and I found myself when I was on sick leave and
Sure.
I was at home, there was dishes and laundry.
Yep.
Even though I was sick and probably every time I moved I was throwing up, if I didn't get those tasks done, I felt like I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And, even though I was sick, at the same time, it's just like doing
You want to get something done.
small
Yeah.
makes you feel like, and so I was this big, so working from home was this big thing for me. It's like, I never knew if I can actually like enjoy or take interest in working from home.
Okay.
But being sick over this point in time, I was just like, I can do this.
Mm.
I can work from home
Mm-hmm.
because I can allocate time to work.
Mm-hmm.
I can take breaks.
Mm-hmm.
During my breaks, I can do laundry,
Mm-hmm.
load the dishwasher,
Mm-hmm.
put something in the crock pot to
Mhm.
cook for dinner. And it's like, I can, if I need to, take an extended break,
Mm-hmm.
30, 45 minutes, run to Walmart, run to HEB,
Sure.
get something done. So it allowed me to understand and for me to actually comprehend that there's time to delegate for work. There's time to delegate for your personal. There's time to delegate for other things
Absolutely.
that you have.
Yeah.
So I'm all on board with remote working
Mm-hmm.
because now I fully understand and see that there's more to it. You just set your schedules of things that you can get done because we're on average. I did a compare and contrast. When Alicia and I leave for work, we take the kids and we're out of the house by 7:10.
Okay.
We don't return to the house until about 6:30.
Okay.
Dishes still need to be done.
Sure.
Laundry still needs to be done. Dinner for that night still needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Kids need to be bathed
Mm-hmm.
and get ready for the next day.
Yep.
When I understood and saw how working from home, whether it's myself or Alicia or either one of us, can free up time to be able to delegate to other stuff, then you understand. So what happened? I picked up my daughter. Everybody was home no later than 6:30. Both kids were bathed by 7. Dinner was ready and done in between 6:45 and 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was fed and ate by 7:30, 7:45.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kids had the rest of the night to do whatever they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then about the time 9:15 came, both kids were ready to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, Aubrey, was saying, Daddy or Mommy, I'm tired. I'm ready to lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden was in his room practically on the verge of falling asleep.
Right.
So when you delegate your time and you set your time out, you can get a lot done, a lot accomplished. And at the end of the day, even if Felicia and I were just sitting in bed on our phones watching TV, at least we had downtime and we didn't have to worry about rushing to like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. Everything was taken care of.
Right.
So it's setting those boundaries, sticking to them, because, in me being sick and working from home for a little bit and whatnot, I found out a lot of different things that we can do. So I'm going to leave work early, pick up Aubrey. We're going to have both kids home before 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to have their baths taken before 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we set a schedule from there.
Yeah.
And this is this allowed us to see what really works for our family.
Sure.
And what really is going to make us more productive. And because there was one night Aiden came into the room, he was just like, man, it seems like it's after 9 o'clock, but it's only 8:15.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was done.
Yeah.
When before we were rushing, like, hey, get in the shower, time to eat, do this, and do that.
Right.
Now it's just like, okay, we have everybody home, the kids' baths are taken care of, food's cooked, everybody's eating, and so on and so on.
Right.
Now everything moves smoothly, and it's all about setting boundaries and going from there.
Sure.
Not just work boundaries, but boundaries for our personal lives. And if you're not working from home and you have to actually go out and work, you can still set boundaries to be like,
Yeah.
because granted, sometimes I pick up my daughter and I, talk to my mom, chat with her for 30, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Can I cut that shorter and be like, hey, I'm going to delegate 10, 15 minutes and then I got to get home because there's more stuff to do?
Right.
Yeah, and it's all about delegating and setting those boundaries in personal life, work life, and then going from there and seeing
Right.
what works out best for your schedule and your family and your friends and going from there.
Right.
So yeah, with all this, it's I understand it and it's more personal from the last about week and a half, 2 weeks
Right.
of me kind of working from home and doing stuff like that. It makes more sense.
Right. Yeah, and I think you hit on this point too. The one important thing about this is that you can start very small and make little tiny improvements, and that will snowball into bigger
Definitely.
impacts. So we're not talking about big dramatic life changes. Talking about a little change, see a little progress, and then I'll snowball into bigger and bigger things.
Definitely, definitely, because I feel when I looked at it, it cuts down on a lot of. I'm not gonna say it's like something major, like a major fight or a major argument, but I'm saying like once I fully understood this and I saw it, it cuts down on a lot of tension between Alicia and I because on one hand I'm like rushing to get the kids home. We got to get them fed. We got to get them ate like
Right.
like a robot.
Right.
And then on her side, she's like, calm down, like the kids need to breathe a little bit. But once you get that schedule and those boundaries set up, then it allows the whole personal living situation to flow smoothly and to work together.
Sure.
Kids get bathed, then they get something to eat, and then once they're done with all their chores and everything, and then they just have time to play.
Right.
What may seem like an hour and a half to us, Arby was done with everything. She had 2 hours to play.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour and 25, she's ready for bed.
Right.
Aiden had about 2.5 hours to play. Around about the 2 hour and 45 minute, he was already falling asleep.
Right.
So it's just like once you recognize what you need to do and set those boundaries and delegate your time to each different area
Mm-hmm.
and allow them to flow smoothly together,
Mm-hmm.
it would pretty much change your life dramatically.
Right.
And it opened up my eyes to a lot, and I'm down for it.
Right. So the next thing we have a clip from TikTok, and it's Geraldo Rivera asking former Attorney General William Barr a question, and we don't get super political on this show, but I think this one's important. So let me play the clip, and then we'll have a really brief discussion on the clip and wrap it up from there.
Sounds good.
Is Donald Trump fit to be president?
This is the way I'll answer that, Geraldo, which is if you believe in his policies, what he's advertising is his policies. He's the last person who could actually execute them and achieve them. He does not have the discipline. He does not have the ability for strategic thinking and linear thinking or setting priorities or how to get things done in the system. It is a horror show when he's left to his own devices. And so you may want his policies, but Trump will not deliver Trump policies. He will deliver chaos and, if anything, lead to a backlash that will set his policies much further back than they otherwise would be.
So I think this is important to share, just in case this reaches one person that may be on the fence. Trump is not what America needs. He's not going to help this greatly divided country relearn how to compromise, how to coexist, how to respect one another. We have to right this ship, get it back on the rails, course correct, or whatever other analogy works. The last 6 years have been an era of unprecedented conflict, not only worldwide, but here in the United States. One election is not going to fix things, but it could certainly make things worse. That's my take on it. I don't think we have to get super deep into this, but I think the point here is, if there's one person out there that's on the fence, I hope that you would listen to that with an open mind. I hope that you would understand what was just said and ultimately make the right choice. One election is not going to fix this thing, but it could make things worse. Let's not make things worse.
Yeah. My take on it, I would do it broadly and go from here. Every person that has been elected president has done something great for this country. Overall, should there be certain people elected or re-elected over others? Yeah. Trump did do some great, but there was a lot that was done that should have not been done. But when you go to the polls, you have to think overall, what is going to be good for not just myself and how I feel and how I think, but this country as a whole. Is a person that I'm electing to this seat going to fulfill and do everything that they need to do to move this county, country, state, as a country, into the right direction? Whether this person has been elected before or the first time. Are they going to do the right things? Do you honestly feel that they're going to do the right things to move this country to a better place? Or they're just going to make things worse? Once you understand that, once you see that, then we can really move forward in electing the right person to the right office that will actually do something despite political affiliates or political party. Can they do the job that needs to get done that's going to better help us as a whole? And go from there.
Right. Yeah, I do think it's important to pick a candidate. And I don't think prior to 2020, we would have said it this way. But I think it's important to pick a candidate, or prior to 2016. It's important to pick a candidate that will put the country in front of themselves.
Yes.
I think in 2016, we elected someone that promised to do that and showed us that all he would do is put himself first.
Yeah.
And even out of office, all he continues to do is put himself first.
Correct.
We don't want someone in office that would continually puts themselves first. That's not going to help our situation. All it's going to do is increase the division that we have in this country. All it's going to do is increase the fervor. It's going to,
Yeah, because we're not talking about we're talking about
it's a country.
United
There's
States
a lot of us.
of America.
Yeah.
We are Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. We're
with a diverse interest.
Exactly. Short, tall, gay, straight, whatever the case may be.
Some of us care about state rights. Some of us care about women's rights. Some of us care about
we're this melting
whatever.
pot, and we need to not look as when it comes to being a president or somebody that's going to make policy and make laws for a said group of people, we need to not look as ourselves as this is about me. No, this is not about you. Right. This is about the people that you represent. The leader is
leading the country.
Exactly.
Not himself.
And once we elect somebody that's going to look at the country as a whole and say that I'm here to defend and stand up for the country and do what's best for them, right, despite if I'm Democrat or Republican, then we can elect the right person that's going to actually do something that's going to make this country better as a whole, rather than say it's about me and I.
Right. And, one final comment on this, and I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to tell you that we're going to try not to make this a political podcast every week. But one final comment on this. We need an election where we don't have to pick the lesser of two evils.
Correct.
We need good candidates.
Exactly.
And we need to vote for these good candidates. So often we don't vote for the good candidate because they're not sexy. They're not edgy. They're not saying the things that get the media attention.
Exactly.
That's what we need. We need the moderate, middle of the road candidate that will do the best for as many people as possible. The further and further we move to the edges, the less people are happy and satisfied.
Look at the candidates that are willing to reach across both lines.
Yes.
And to compromise and say, hey, you know what? Democrats have a good idea. Republicans have a good idea. Let's take both sides and move towards something good.
And we're not saying that there's not flaws in those people too. John McCain had his flaws.
Exactly.
Joe Lieberman had his flaws.
He did.
But they were middle of the road candidates that were willing to reach across the aisle and make compromise. And that's what we need to get back to.
Exactly. John McCain did it. I love the guy for it.
Yep.
If he was alive running for office, I'll support him no matter what, because he did that. He was there. He said, let's get both ideas, put them together, and let's move this country towards something that's good for everybody, not just for one side.
And unfortunately, it seems like compromise might have died with him. We just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it recently. No. And that's what we need in this country.
It needs to come back. That's a wrap for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.
Follow us on all the social medias. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Life with Dan and Lewis.
That's at Life with Dan and Lewis.
Video episodes are now available on YouTube, along with all our previous episodes in their audio-only formats, also on YouTube or wherever podcasts are available. Check them out. We hope to see you all there.
Come check us out.
We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, check out our new limited series, The Spotlight. New episodes will be coming between weekly episodes of Life with Dan and Lewis throughout the year. Thanks for listening today. More episodes can be found anywhere podcasts are found, and on our YouTube page and on our webpage at lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
That's lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
Until next time, ask yourself, what have you done today to help someone else? Make good choices.
And love one another.